pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is there an ASB report? No ASB. And public comment?
Nope.
No public comment. On to technology review.
So Bob will give us a tech update.
Thank you.
Bob? Well, thank you.
All right, this is a state of our current technology report at the school district. And we currently manage a diverse ecosystem of devices tailored to specific educational and administrative needs. And we currently operate on a 5-year replenishment cycle, just to keep everything up to date, updated, so that we can run testing in the various software that we run. We currently have approximately 250 Windows devices, 295 Chromebooks, 521 iPads, and 47 MacBooks. And in the next fiscal year, we're going to need 6 MacBooks and 4 Windows updated to maintain that 5-year cycle. And we're going to start updating the iPad Gen 7s. They're not due yet, but I don't want to face a 228 unit update when they do get due. End of life is expected sometime near the end of 26 to the summer of 27. They've already been on the market for about 6 years, and Apple usually keeps their products running for about 7 to 8 before they give them end of life status and go on to the next one. Our network backbone has seen significant investment to ensure that they're always on and connectivity for students and staff. In the summer of 24, we had a complete switch upgrade so that we had enterprise grade licensing, updates through 2019, or 2029, sorry.
Bob, could you explain what the switch is?
The switch is what runs all of the access points and everything. As you reach out from the switch, you go to the little data ports in the wall. You go to, I don't see an access point up here, it's down there. There's another one back over there. But the access points that our wireless products go through, they all go through a switch. Because the switch is what actually takes it and channels it through so that it could go into the fiber optics and go out into the internet world. If you didn't have that, you'd be having, everybody would have a line that went out to the fiber optics and going out. So the switch is what maintains the traffic control.
Thank you.
We recently completed a fiber optic expansion between the high school and the bus garage, and we are currently waiting for about a $16,800 reimbursement through E-rate. Last year, we upgraded the booth at the football field with a point-to-point system to enable the cameras, and we live streamed last year the graduation ceremonies using that device. The servers are currently performing fairly well. I've been talking to ESD about possibly relocating them over to the high school from the middle school, just so that we don't have one room where we have the majority of our infrastructure, just for security purposes. And speaking of security, security is no longer just having an antivirus on your device. There's a lot of other things that go along with it, especially in a school district. School districts notoriously are kind of vulnerable to cybersecurity threats. So we use Sentinel-1 for an advanced endpoint detection and response, which is basically our endpoint antivirus. We use Lumu, which is for our network trafficking, for our switches, for our firewall, for our servers. We currently subscribe to Action 1, which is a console for automated patching and vulnerability management. Every now and then I'll get a phone call from somebody that says, do I need to restart right now, or can I postpone it till tonight after hours? And I'll usually tell them postpone it till tonight after hours, but that's because everything's managed to a point where I can keep an eye on what's going on district-wide. We also have what's called Easy DMARC. It's a brand of email security that we use. And I double-checked it today. Our current compliance for outgoing emails being properly authenticated is 100%. I worked with ESD, talked to Andy about 2 weeks ago regarding budgetary issues, and he has agreed to roll our backups, Easy DMARC and Sentinel 1, into their contract so that we can save $4,453 a year. Some of the successes that we had this year, and there were challenges, but wound up being successes, is some curriculum support at the middle school. We went through some complex filtering adjustments to get that to work. It took more time than optimal, but it did get worked with securely and ESD, other agencies working in the background to get it taken care of. CVA communication, Zulu phones last summer wound up being defunct. They stopped working, and we had to find something new. Wound up using a VoIP solution called Sangoma Phone, and the CVA teachers can now use their direct extensions on mobile web signals and maintain their communication lines as Kettle Falls School District rather than personal phone calls. Clever Single Sign-On is in the final configuration stages for at least the elementary school, and I believe the middle school also. I don't know. But Andy said they're just about done. And then we've been making significant strides on how we manage the mobile devices at the middle school to ensure they're being used as effective learning tools rather than distractions. And we are using individualized profiles, shared iPad management. We're in the process of getting this in there to where a student will actually sign in with his own unique credentials and will be held accountable for what he looks at. It helps with enhanced transparency and classroom oversight. And then looking ahead, we're going to move Windows management to a Microsoft Intune, which is a console similar to what we use for Jamf. For the Apple products that we have, Intune will centralize app deployment and will assist us with more cost savings. Skyward is going to a single sign-on through Google accounts, which should give staff and students quicker, more secure accounts. And I was hoping she'd be here. I wanted to give a major prop to Julie for her work with our new inventory and help desk system. This is going to streamline our asset tracking and help tickets well more efficiently. So to summarize, our network is more reliable, more efficient than ever, and through strategic E-rate use and contract consolidation, we're trying to maximize the taxpayer dollar for a secure, modern learning environment.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good, on to Kettle Falls Middle School School Improvement Plan.
Where is like I never use this. Where am I going with this?
It's fine.
Oh, the big button on top.
Okay, this is my 15th or 16th year of creating a Kettle Falls Middle School work plan. Every single one of them has shared the same core goals. Increase student achievement, decrease office referrals, and improve the overall culture at Kettle Falls Middle School. This year's plan is no different. We are still anchored in clear benchmarks, improving I-ready growth, reducing behavior concerns, and strengthening our CE data for staff, students, and parents. What is different this year is my level of confidence of how we are addressing these goals. This fall, we started practically brand new. All but 2 teachers were teaching something different. a different content than the year before. Even the 2 that were teaching the same content had new curriculum to teach. So everybody in the building walked into that classroom the first day and had something brand new. Age of their kid, content, or the curriculum. So that, as a result, we started the year very slowly and intentionally. We invested heavily in rebuilding and strengthening our structures. And with the clean slate and the foundational work, you guys hear us talk a lot about Character Strong. We were able to look to our growth areas through a new lens. So tonight, I'm not doing this by myself, because St. Clair is going to talk about our academic improvement and our instructional practices and how our MTSS team supports both students and staff through strong foundational systems, ensuring that students can access the material in the classroom. Hooper, also known as Emily, will share how we are building character and culture and how we're working to help students feel proud to be Kettle Falls Middle School Bulldogs and in many ways tricking them into wanting to learn. Michaela is going to talk about our students with lagging skills, especially those who are socially and emotionally challenged, and how it makes it difficult to even remain in the class long enough to engage in the learning. Her work supports not only the classroom environment, but the overall well-being of our students. This is hard work that we're doing. It is daily, and it's intentional, and it's very complex, but I have an amazing team. Now they're going to take over.
Academic improvement. Yes, perfect. So to start, more academic based, all the content teams at the beginning of the year, the reading, language arts, ELA, the math, and the science, we need to create a yearly goal to where we want to see the students by the end of the year. For reading and math, we look at the I-ready scores in that data to say, okay, here we starting the beginning of the year, this is where we want to get, and then specifically in what area. So math is numbers and operations, and reading is more in the informational text. Science is different because they don't use I-ready testing. So within the curriculum of OpenScience, they have progress monitoring checks in the curriculum that they use to monitor the students' progress in that really inquiry-based curriculum. So the teachers are striving to build based off the data we are seeing in tests. But in instructional practices and structures, there's a quote, the KFMS theory of action. It's if we strengthen high-quality instruction and implement consistent, student-centered classroom management practices, then students will experience greater engagement, access, and support, resulting in increased academic growth across all content areas. So that kind of leads what Tracy was saying with all the newness this year. We wanted to focus on instructional practices. So our teachers with the Ad Council, we determined that these were the 3 areas we wanted to really focus on with the staff this year on our Wednesday morning meetings. So 1 mic proximity, use of learning targets. So 1 mic, we've been saying in our building for a couple of years, and we always said we're always striving to be super consistent in all grade levels. So you guys are following 1 mic right now because I'm speaking and you're not having side conversations. So that's 1 mic. So let's say if Stephanie was talking to Jeff over there, then I would stop and wait. And use proximity, which is just you're continuing to teach. Sorry to use you guys. So proximity is you're continuing to teach, but maybe you see someone, it's a quiet way to redirect, just these tier 1 practices. And use of learning targets is really pinpointing what is the purpose of the lesson, giving the kids an entry point, getting more familiar with the vocab so they have that deeper understanding of the lesson for the academic content that we're getting into. So those are the instructional practices on Wednesday mornings. This last part of the year, we're going to be doing peer-to-peer observations between content area teachers. So they'll be able to go into the classroom, they'll get ideas, we can work on building up more consistency throughout the building so all the kids know what they're going to go into and see in the classrooms. So we're starting that. They also did an initial assessment of themselves. Where am I with 1 mic, proximity, learning targets? And here in the next couple months after the peer-to-peer, they'll do another assessment just to check how are we progressing towards these goals. Structures, the student support team, we get like multi-tiered system of support. So it's a team where we meet once a week and teachers fill out a request for additional support if they're seeing a student who behaviorally might need support or academically. So as a team, we're able to look at the student's data, attendance, grades, I-ready data, and determine what is the best level of support for them, which goes into our interventions. So options for interventions are 5th grade class. We started this last year, just kind of like an introduction into the middle school. We call it walk to math, walk to read. So during a 30-minute, we call it opportunities after lunch, they go to a class just to get a little extra support with math and reading in different level groups. And then we have study hall, which is an intervention for reading and math for 5th and 6th graders, where they come into the classroom and they're working on building their skills specifically on what the already data is showing us they need. So it's differentiated that way. And we have a lot of, so kind of with the special education department, but also Title I, there's para-educators that are in the classrooms helping support students in small groups inside and outside the classrooms. So those are all of the academic or improvement plan.
You guys have any questions about that section?
Oh, you have a question?
No.
Oh.
I told them you were gonna ask me.
Oh, you should have. Where was the email earlier today?
Hello. So at Kettle Falls Middle School, our goal is to educate the whole child. We believe that student success is built on 3 foundational outcomes: a sense of belonging, improved well-being, and increased engagement. Our work around character and culture is intentionally designed to support these outcomes through a multi-tiered school-wide approach. The first one are our Character Strong advisory lessons. Every Thursday and Friday after lunch, our middle school students participate in a Character Strong lesson that goes for 30 minutes. We call it Character Strong advisory lessons. These lessons are focused to develop the social emotional skills and building positive relationship. Each week, the students are introduced to a new character dare. This character dare is a simple and an actionable challenge that turns values like kindness, empathy, and responsibility into real behaviors. The character dares are posted in the classrooms for students to see. I have an example of one.
Oh, good. I was going to ask for one.
So this one is the 3+1. So this will be introduced to our students on Thursday. And it says, share 3 things that you need to accomplish this week with a family member. Ask them for 1 piece of advice that would help you complete them. So every classroom has one of these posted, and our goal is we like to ask our students and our teachers, if you've accomplished this goal, to sign it. And so as the week goes on, you'll see signatures starting to show up on these from across the school. So it's nice to actually see these being used. Our kids are actually owning them and wanting to do them. We also are having a whole community involvement with these Character Strong lessons because we do staff dares as well. One of the staff dares that we've used quite a bit this year is called EMR, and I actually have that one printed off too. So this is called, we just call it EMR goal. EMR stands for establish, maintain, or restore. And so what we do is we look at our students in our classes, or we look at our students and we come in contact with a day. What students do I not know a lot about that I need to establish a relationship with? What students did maybe a relationship got damaged because of a behavior conflict or something in the classroom? How am I going to, well, that would be repair it. Or how am I going to maintain it? Like, okay, I finally have this kid. I understand where they're going. How am I going to make sure that I keep putting, we call them pennies into the penny bank, so when we have to remove them, we have that maintained relationship already there. So that's one for staff, which we'd, like I said, every Wednesday morning, Tracy talks about this one. And then we also do family dares. So we try to make sure that we send these home once a month or so to families, just to keep the Character Strong conversation open at home as much as possible. And so here's a family dare. This is no table talk time. So it was no technology at the dinner table. We had a couple parents that mentioned this one. We also had a couple students that came home and said, or came back to school and said, my mom cleaned off her table and we actually sat down and ate dinner together and didn't have our cell phones out. And so that was really nice to hear that we're bringing
it's a whole wraparound for our students. So together these efforts create a full wraparound approach that immerses students, staff, and families in a shared culture. So that was Character Strong, and our Character Strong dares focus recognition cards. And I have an example of one of those too. So here's a little focus recognition card. It has our KFMS goal on it. So when a teacher or another student catches a student showing kindness, responsibility, teamwork, or growth mindset, they fill it out. The white copy goes to the student. Hopefully the student takes it home, parents put it on the refrigerator. But on the off chance that doesn't happen, the yellow copy goes to me. And then I call every single parent of one of these I get. Last year, I called 1,175 parents.
I like that.
So every parent received a positive, at least one, but multiple positive phone calls from the school. So we just didn't pick up the phone when there was something negative that we had to talk about. Again, building that relationship where we're a team trying to deal with this all together. On top of that, once the student gets 3 of these cards, Mrs. Vining will send a letter home, a little postcard home. So the students also get a postcard, so they get something fun in the mail, which I always enjoy fun things in the mail, so we get that as well. So again, it's just strengthening those relationships with families and reinforcing those expectations in a meaningful way. Kind of on the other hand, sometimes we need to do things that will help our students along. So we have solution contracts and behavior contracts. That was kind of a brainchild of Tracy, myself, and I think Amy Owens over the years. We like to celebrate the positive behavior, but we recognize that students need additional support. So what a student solution contract does is that's a contract developed between the teacher and the student, and I just sit in on the meeting as a facilitator. I might ask questions like to a student, why do you think we're here? And usually kids know why they're there. I talk too much in class, or I get up and walk around, or I don't listen, or I don't follow one mic, which is said a lot. And then we ask the student, what do you need from us? What do you need to do that, to make that happen? But what do you need from us to also make that happen? So we have, it's like a contract between the teacher and the student that focuses on reflection and accountability, but also classroom support. So it's not just a negative, punitive thing, it's trying to teach some better behaviors. The behavior contract is a more structured, that's a school-wide approach. So rather than just a single teacher and the student, this will be with the students and all the adults in the building. And it helps to support the students with consistency across all settings. In both cases, students are part of the process, identifying areas for growth and determining how staff can support them. We've had really good luck over the years with these contracts, with helping to develop stronger relationships with our students, understanding what our students need, and also keeping a consistency within the classrooms. And then Wellness Wednesdays is a school-wide tradition that focuses on positivity and connections. Every Wednesday, our staff wears shirts with encouraging messages like, show kindness, all feelings matter, you belong here. This year, the ASB has expanded the effort to purchasing Wellness Wednesdays shirts for all students that on the back of them say, KFMS Bulldogs, choose kindness. And then it says it starts with us. You guys will all receive one too when they come in. So our hope is that every Wednesday the kids will wear these shirts, and it again will become a true community effort to show kindness, to be a kind person. And I'm also wear the hat of ASB advisor. Was brought to our attention, I think over the summer, that with our CEE data, there are only 33% of our students report that they like to come to school, which I'm like, holy crumb cakes, that's low. So I took the challenge to our ASB kids and said, all right guys, we understand it's middle school, we understand you might not want to be here, and there's a lot of other places you'd rather be. but we need to do something, because you have to be here, but we want you to have to be here. So we're working on some engaging activities. Some ideas that were thrown out was our ASB kids greeting students at the door. So all of us are already outside greeting kids in the mornings, but maybe we add that student aspect to it as well. They really like the idea of a dodgeball tournament. So we've done a couple. We've done teachers versus kids, and now we're going to go into advisory classes, and they thought that would be fun. Instead of school dances, we're going to do a middle school takeover. Surprise, Tracy. She doesn't know about that yet, but instead of our traditional dance, we're going to have we're going to invite the middle schoolers to just come in and take over the building and play and just be able to hang out and enjoy being in the space that is the middle school. We have our shirts, and then we're also, the ASB thought of doing things like maybe a Valentine's treat of an Italian soda at Valentine's time, or SBA testing's a big one where kids are like, please, I don't want to come and do the SBA testing, so maybe little treats, mints or a string cheese or something, or you're a mint for being here, something to just make kids want to show up as much as possible. And so we're trying to intentionally build character and culture through our advisory lessons and positive recognitions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Oh, questions? No. Thank you.
Hello. Okay. I'm here to talk. There we go. I'm here to talk a little bit about the special programs that we're offering at the middle school that align with our school improvement plan. And so our theory of action for character and culture is if we strengthen our supports for struggling students and their well-being, sense of belonging, and behavioral skills, then we will see a decrease in office referrals and BERT emails and an increase in overall school satisfaction for both students and staff. And our BERT emails is our system where if teachers need support in the classroom or if kids are on a contract, that they send a BERT. We have a BERT team that goes and responds to those BERTs, mostly Mrs. Hooper. But I'm going to kind of talk about the preventative process that we've put in place to address specific student needs who might possess lagging skills that are where they're experiencing barriers for learning. So we want to make sure that that is a data-informed approach. So what we do is we use multiple sources of data, including screeners from teachers, screeners from students, student surveys, behavioral, attendance, and academic data to make decisions about what types of support students need to be able to be successful. So we put a lot of effort into making sure that those are accurate and appropriate and targeted based on their specific areas of need. So sometimes that looks like Tier 2 and Tier 3 supports. Again, these are meant to be proactive and solution-focused and brief. So right now we offer Tier 2 small groups that are run by me, and they're part of the Character Strong curriculum. We have 4 types of groups. The first one, well, self-regulation and coping kind of go together. We teach kids how to regulate emotions so that they can function at their best, so that they can be have sharp decision-making skills and be successful in the classroom. We also offer self-management groups, which focus on executive functioning skills, so how to focus in class, how to ignore distractions, how to not be the distraction, how to be organized, how to communicate with my teachers. We also have relationships groups, which is centered around social skills, and so teaching kids how to be a good friend, what to look for in a good friend, conflict resolution, middle school things, it's a lot of social building skills within those. All of those groups, again, are very strategically chosen for kids. A lot of times they're also involved in that process where they know why they're there, it's very purposeful, and we're really using their time wisely. Those run for 8 to 10 weeks, and some come once a week, some come every 2 weeks, just based on need. and capacity. We have a high number this year, so we've kind of had to get creative with that. We also offer Tier 3 supports, which are more individualized, more intensive. A lot of times these are coordinated with parents, staff, outside resources, and these are also through the Character Strong curriculum, where we address if students are showing signs and symptoms of anxiety or depression, or even going deeper into the executive functioning piece. We talk a lot about the brain and how that impacts our decision making and just how we function. We also provide staff mentors for students. This is pretty cool. We pair an adult with a student in the building. They do daily check-ins, they know their goals, they know what strategies they're working on, and it's just a great way to continue to build relationships with our kids, but also to give them a person. We're always working on sense of belonging, and so if they have someone that they feel like has their back, and it's like a very neutralizing routine in the morning where I go find my mentor, my mentor finds me. We've had a lot of success. This is our 3rd year of doing those. Overall, these services, their impacts allow us to identify concerns early, provide targeted interventions that are tailored to student needs, reduce the barriers to learning, and support our students' well-being and overall achievement. Are there any questions?
What does BERT actually stand for?
There is like a debate. You guys, yeah, Hooper?
It's a Friends episode.
Yes, there we
Stephanie
go.
came up with it.
Yes. It's a Friends episode where,
It's a safe word.
yes, a safe word. It's Joey and Chandler's safe word.
Or
Or it's
Behavior Emergent Response Team. That one.
We'll go with the Friends episode.
Okay.
Thanks, Michaela.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So I think so what makes it, this is our goal, we've had a goal for a long time. I think what makes it, for a long time, we have worked on academic support and behavior support, right? I mean, those are the 2 areas we keep working, but we've never gotten down to what kind of skills can we help this kid? So it feels like it is well-rounded. We are trying to reach the kid by many different ways now, so, thank you. Any questions? Other than Bert?
Thank you. On to consideration of minutes.
I'll move that we accept the December 29th, 2025 board meeting minutes.
I'll second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Consent agenda. Can I get a motion?
I move that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And on to approval expenditures.
I'll make a motion that we approve the expenditures.
I'll second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, superintendent reports.
So, whoa, I hate it when that happens, and I have yet to figure out what I hit to make that happen.
Every time.
Get back there. All right, so our attendance is continuing to be above projection. We are right now in the process of, Katie actually might have, but I'm not gonna ask her because I don't know for sure. We are in the process of figuring out the additional apportionment that we will be receiving for the remainder of the school year. As I say, probably every board meeting, when you project below what your actual FTE is, you get additional apportionment based on the actual, starting in January for the remainder of the school year. And as you can see, our projection is still under what the actual is. You always want to project conservatively because the inverse is also true. If you over project, then they take apportionment from January through the end of the year, which makes your budget really challenging to sustain. So every year so far, we have been fortunate to be under projection, so continuing. This is just another graph that shows that. And this is just historical enrollment. We are currently right here. As you know, our enrollment is down. We're down. We're about 600 FTE brick and mortar, down from a high of, I believe it was 760 7 years ago. It's a pretty common trend that school districts are seeing right now. Birth rates are down, and so that eventually is going to catch up with everybody. Ending fund balance, remember we're always a month behind. It was kind of trailing off as, every month is different. You can see by the graph, every month is different based on different expenditures. Money comes out not the same every month because of the increased apportionment that we're going to be receiving. We do expect that the projected ending fund balance will get back up to the estimate of around 2.7 for the remaining, or for the end of the year. So, and the rest are talking points. So we have a space issue when it comes to athletics. Especially when it comes to spring sports, specifically before the weather is good enough for kids to actually be outside. Primarily we're talking golf, softball, baseball. There is a community member that might be interested in helping us. So we talked about the Gibson Field shed, and with the wrestling and the baseball component, that shed became exceedingly out of budget. If we reduce the scope of that to just supporting softball and baseball, it may become something that a community member may be able to support us in. I have been going back and forth with our attorneys to find out how best to accomplish that. If we were able to get a shed over at Gibson Field that we could put batting cages in, and there would be room for throwing as well. Batting cages would be available, kind of like an open gym idea. We could use, the students would have access to that all year round as well as the throwing space. That would create space that we could, so last year Boise donated a couple pretty nice golf simulators. Our challenge with space is creating challenges with those golf simulators. If we were able to have softball, baseball, interior batting cages over at Gibson Field, we could then give our golf simulators a permanent home. So students, just like using the batting cages, students would have access to those golf simulators all year round. Pending, we have to staff it, obviously, somebody has to supervise it. So, pretty exciting. It's still in a conversation phase right now. If it moves, hopefully it does. If it moves beyond that, obviously I will be updating you guys more. Related to what we are going to be doing right now, because obviously if we do that, that shed's not going to be like snap your fingers and up and running. But we are working on a temporary solution for this spring. Right now, basically, we're trying to figure out how to utilize half of the blue building, the half of the blue building that is an instructional space. We can't put golf simulators and batting cages in the blue building. There isn't enough space for all of it. But I think, have located a temporary fix for the golf simulators. I say I think because, kind of like the shed over at Gibson Field, there's still conversations that need to occur. But I have two very strong possibilities that we might be able to house the golf simulators in. And then we would be able to put the batting cages in the blue building for now. Not, that certainly isn't the idea behind the permanent fix. The permanent fix is gonna take a little longer. And like I said, it's still conversation pieces, or conversation phases, I guess. But I'm hoping to have more information on the likelihood or ability for that to move forward, like, very soon. So, any questions related to that? Okay. String instrument loans. So right now we have more string instruments than we are utilizing at our high school. There is a community group, I think it's called Kettle Falls Family Strings, that has voiced interest in being able to access, while they're not being used, because right now we don't have a class that utilizes them, being able to access those to support the students within our community through their organization. I have a draft agreement that would allow the community group to, on a temporary basis, as long as we continue to not need them, at any point in time that we're able to get a class that would utilize them, we would recall the instruments and get them back. But I have a draft agreement that would allow this community group to borrow them from our high school. They would be responsible for maintenance, upkeep, storage, all of that kind of stuff, until such time when the high school needs those instruments back, and then obviously they would return them when that need arises.
Does that solve any of our storage woes in that room?
It would certainly help, yes. Help significantly. It's not an action item.
Right.
It doesn't have to be an action item. If you have strong feelings in opposition to that, let me know. If you don't, then I feel confident that this group would be good stewards of the instruments and take care of them as we would. And like I said, at any point in time that we're able to offer a class that would utilize them, we can recall them. I intermittently talked with you guys about the different grants that we have gotten. I don't know if I've officially talked about it, all of them at a board meeting. So just going down the list, you know that, well, I don't know if you remember, we got, the middle school is in the running for the small district modernization grant construction project, which hopefully we will know by the end of this legislative session when we can be expecting those funds. In the meantime, we have gotten the planning grant to do the planning for HVAC, building-wide, including the gym, HVAC. I'm not sure if upgrade is the correct term. It's complete replacement, modernization and complete replacement, to include air conditioning, and to include air conditioning in the gym. It would be ran on its kind of own system. We have also received $1.3 million from the Department of Health Indoor Air Quality Grant for this middle school project. The work related to that, the challenge is the timing. We don't have the construction grant, but we have $1.3 million that we have to use before we know about the construction grant. So I'm working with McKinstry, who is the company that's doing the big project, and they're identifying what can we do with that $1.3 million now that will complement or tie in with the overall project when we're able to get that done. So that work will actually start this summer. I know you guys are familiar with this, we got the Hagen grant for the middle school kiln. We're in the process of sourcing all of the materials. That was for $14,316. Very recently, we got an ADA accessibility grant. That grant is for $121,800. That grant is targeting the sidewalks behind the elementary school. Not sure how frequently you've been back there, but Steve can't keep enough orange paint on the cracks. It heaved and thawed, and so those will all be replaced and widened to be a safe distance, a safe width. We are going to be redoing the entryway to the high school, kind of like the elementary sidewalks. There's been a lot of heaving and thawing going on, or freezing, I guess, going on with the different slabs out front of the high school. While Mike hasn't used orange paint, he's spent a lot of time with a grinder trying to grind those lips down so they don't catch people's feet. To do that and keep it more affordable, we will also be expanding the grass, the little grass island that's right there. Dirt and grass is a lot cheaper than concrete, and I'm not sure we need that insanely wide concrete path. So it's a little bit of a give and take. We will also be paving the walkway between the high school and the track. The walkway that's used by everybody that goes to football games or whatever. So that is also part of that project. We are still waiting to find out. We applied for a Healthy Kids, Healthy Schools grant. There was two things we included in that grant. One of them is putting a drinking fountain and bottle filler in the middle school cafeteria right now and forever, I suppose. The students in the cafeteria access cold, fresh water via like a thermos water cooler kind of an idea that our staff have to fill up, have to wash, have to maintain, and it's filled up before lunch, and I suppose if it gets empty, but by the time the kids that eat the last lunch get through, it's not really cold anymore. So that actually is, I estimated that cost. In order to do that, we would have to go through the cinder block wall between the locker room and the cafeteria. And so I estimated that to be $12,750. The water filler itself is around $1,000, but for that level of installation, that's not going to be an easy project, which is honestly why it hasn't been done already. There's no easy access to water and a drain, to plumbing, to be able to do that. The high school weights and conditioning equipment is also quite old, and so the other half of that grant is $12,100 to, I can't say it will replace everything, but it will replace the vast majority of our weights and conditioning equipment. So we hope to hear, hopefully by the next board meeting, I can give you an update, hopefully in a positive way, regarding that. So those are the grants we've gotten. Is that it? That's it, and that's my report. Any questions or anything? No?
Thank you. On to good of the order.
One of the things on our consent agenda was a resignation from our food service director, Robin. Robin might have been my first administrative hire. Spent the last 7 years with her. She's done an amazing job with our food service department, done a great job with our staff and her team, and it's not going to be easy shoes to fill. So she has done an amazing job for the time that she's been here, and now she's ready for her next adventure. So.
I'm trying to think of how to say this. I just really appreciate the school improvement plans and the updates from all the schools. One thing that stuck out to me tonight, was when Emily talked about those focused recognition cards and the number of phone calls that were made. I just think that it's just really an amazing display of dedication, not only to our students, but also, you know, their families, to just to point out when kids are doing well. You know, it's just like anything, we generally only hear the bad. We only get calls about our kids when it's bad. We only get called into my boss's office when it's bad, right? Like, it's just, so, just that it's such a priority in our buildings to point out the good in our kids and for our families. I just, I don't know, it really like touched my heart, so thank you.
I agree. I feel like I want to give them a recognition card.
I know.
'Call them later tonight. Tell
1,100 times.
them about midnight.
Yeah.
All right, on to new business, strategic plan.
Let me click on it. So I'll give you a rundown of the process. So putting the strategic plan together, I mean, we identified a team. The team was myself, Julie, Courtney, Brunette, Diane Gurman, Carrie Edwards. So Diane and Carrie were both representing KFBA, Kettle Falls Education Association. Obviously Courtney representing building administrators. Kim Kimna and Stephanie McDaniel, both of which were representing our classified staff. Destiny Lip and Jason Newton as community members and parents. And then Brett sat on it for the board. And then Kaylee Rooks was our student rep. And so that's the group that came together, worked with Gene Sherritt. Gene is an amazing man, has more energy than I could ever hope to have, and facilitates strategic plans. Actually, probably, I don't know if he goes beyond the Western US, but he's working with schools in Montana. He was working with schools and actually cities in Anchorage. And so this is work that he's very familiar with.
What is his name?
Gene Sherritt. So we met on November 13th and 14th and did a lot of work coming up with different ideas, different drafts, wordsmithing a lot of different things. Obviously that group shared what their values were. Everything on here was generated by that group. Gene took that work and finessed it a little bit, and then I sent it back out to a subgroup of that committee. That subgroup was Destiny Lip, Carrie Edwards, Brett, Kim Kimanoff, and then Julie. We ended up with four of the 5 people responding, so pretty good feedback, you know. And then we took their thoughts, and this is the draft that we created for you guys to consider. You may have seen it in your board packet. Mission statement, here I can zoom in a little bit. Kettle Falls School District's mission is to guide all students in partnership with families and the community to discover their strengths, achieve their potential, and prepare for their futures in a safe, welcoming environment. Vision statement, the Kettle Falls School District fosters a culture where students thrive, lead, and succeed in life. Belief statements, we believe students are the heart of all of our work, and their success, safety, and well-being are our highest priorities. All students can achieve and possess unique potential and resilience. Family and community engagement are key to school and student success. trust, communication, and a strong culture of belonging, create a positive, supportive environment. Professional development for all staff and ensuring operational effectiveness through efficient use of resources are the key to success. And then we created 6 goals. Goal 1 is enhance student learning. The essential work for this goal is to improve outcomes for all students by expanding learning opportunities. It aims to ensure that every student has access to a high-quality education that prepares them for success. Goal 2, ensure school safety and student well-being. The efforts in this goal are dedicated to creating and maintaining a safe and supportive learning environment for all. It addresses the social, emotional, and physical safety of all students, fostering a culture where they feel secure and valued. Goal 3, increase active family and community partnerships. The focus for this goal is to strengthen relationships with families and the community, fostering collaborative efforts that support student learning and development. Goal 4, increase effective communication. Efforts for this goal is to improve both internal and external communication with all stakeholders. It focuses on ensuring clear, consistent, and timely communication to foster trust and engagement. Goal 5, operational effectiveness and improvement. Effective operational systems are necessary to create and sustain optimum learning conditions. It focuses on the effective management of staff, human resources, technology, fiscal matters, maintenance, and transportation. And Goal 6, improve facilities. The work is to improve and enhance facility conditions, ensure that district facilities meet program needs, and support adequate funding for facilities. Facilities reflect our pride and dedication to excellence. That is the summary of 2.5 days worth of work. A lot of behind the scenes work for Jean and some for myself as well. Do you guys have any questions, thoughts?
How do we, not we as a board, but collectively, measure our progress on the goals?
We measure our progress on the goals through the sub-goals, which haven't been identified yet,
Okay.
through those steps. The things that are identified, that's the next step to this. I mean, part of the next step to this, as we talked about during the work session, is you guys identifying, based on those goals, what are some objectives for each of those goals, and then that would be the work that I focus on as well. We also will be, the next step, working with Gene. He'll be coming back, working with our building admin to make sure and better align their school improvement plans with the board adopted strategic plan. I mean, it's the board strategic plan is like, the way I look at it, it's a big umbrella that whether it's a department or a school, all live under that big umbrella. And whether it's a school improvement plan or technology plan like Bob might put together, it all has to align to that strategic plan. The strategic plan provides the direction, and the objectives under those goals are kind of that bigger, broader brush that gets more specific with the work that is that we're focusing on for each of those goals. But how you measure it depends. The metrics depend on what the objective is.
Right.
And so the action we're taking, are we approving the draft? Or what?
Well, if you guys are comfortable with the draft, I think you go, where's my agenda? Off to the top. If you guys are comfortable with the work that those people did to put this draft together, it's for consideration, for tabling it if you'd like to have more conversation, approving it, not approving it.
I would make a motion that we approve the strategic plan as presented.
I'll second that.
Motion has been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Right, executive session. We figure about 20 minutes.
Okay.
So that puts us at 8:20.
We're going good?
Thank you guys.
Thank you guys.
Thanks, Court.
Oh, we paused, we didn't officially adjourn.
Good in
So-
the order, good in the order.
Yeah, well, it was gonna be under my report, so I forgot because we started rolling through the meeting, but I have it punched up. So thank you, Brendan.
You're welcome.
Come on, we can't pass on
I'm
key
good.
elementary
I'm
kids.
good.
We gotta watch it.
Oh,
The elementary school, for board
We put
appreciation,
together a video.
the elementary
That's the
school
worst part.
created a video. Make sure my.
It's great.
Yeah.
Look here, they
Can't miss
colored. That's
this.
awesome. Oh, they are adorable.
It can be. No, yeah.
Alan, he's like, don't look at me. Am I good on?
Oh, those are some kinder bunnies.
Yeah.
Cute.
Nice.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for the goodies.
Yeah, thank you.
Hey,
Absolutely.
thank you guys. I went to my first club volleyball tournament with my U12 team, Norm, and we were lucky enough to play with my girls who have never played a single snap of volleyball. Greg Mason's daughter, never seen a single game
I'm
even
half
played.
awake.
We got to play the #1 draw scene. I'm not kidding. It's like our varsity, they roll up looking like our varsity team. The right side hitter is my highs all the way. And Piper Mason's about this tall. She's like, Maggie's like, are they 12? I'm like, no, girl, there.
They're on steroids.
Yeah. Have a good night.
Bob, are you staying in here?
Yeah.
Or are you leaving?
No, I'm required to stay here
Okay.
and keep the camera rolling until the gavel falls.
Okay. Leaving my purse.
Okay.
Well, I was like, yeah, I wasn't sure. Anyway, all right, lady, have a good one. Yeah. Hey, guys, good job.
I said, oh yeah, of course they are, right after I was. We've been up for 14 hours and stuff. Yeah.
You need to go night night. I'm like, I've got to go get my kids to bed. I'm going to show my camera back. Bob, if it goes, could you email me when it ends? I need an adjournment.
Okay. Can you, Eric, please?
I gotta go to bedtime. I can do that. Thank you. Have a good night.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
All right, meeting adjourned.
All right.